Hello everyone. Now, I know a lot of people will hate me for just saying that I like Fallout 76. However, I don't care, and I'm not afraid to even admit that I do actually like Fallout 76, and it is in fact my third favorite Fallout game after Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. Now, I guess you could call this a defending video for Fallout 76, but I'm just going to talk about why I really like this game and the things that I like about this game. Now, I will say I will not be talking about or defending the business practices that Bethesda are doing for this game because I believe they are terrible and they shouldn't be doing them. And we'll just be talking about the game itself, which I believe is honestly really good. And I believe that you should only look at the game itself rather than the business practices of a business, because I do not agree with anything that Bethesda has done with their business practices. However, the game itself I honestly really like and find to be a lot of fun. And if you want to say I'm a part of the problem because I bought Fallout 76 and I'm playing the game, I'm liking it, and if you want to call and that I'm just a Fallout fanboy or Bethesda fanboy, alright, go ahead. I honestly don't care, because while you're busy doing that, I'm going to be having fun just playing games instead of non-stop complaining. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I like about Fallout 76 is the setting itself. If there's one thing that Bethesda does perfectly, is making amazing worlds, and this is something that all Bethesda Fallout games have, with like the Capital Wasteland in Fallout 3 and even the Commonwealth in Fallout 4. Honestly, Appalachia might be my second favorite setting for a Fallout game, with the Capital Wasteland obviously being my favorite, and this game just looks amazing. And starting with the forest, then to the Toxic Valley, the Ash Heap, the Savage Divide, the Mire, and Chromatic Bog are all fantastic locations to explore and walk around. Honestly, the Toxic Valley is my favorite location simply because how the area looks. It looks amazing. Also, another thing I love is the graphics themselves. Fallout 76 honestly looks fantastic, and personally, in my opinion, probably the best looking Fallout game like that has been made. Like, it looks fantastic. In my opinion, one of the best decisions that was ever made by Bethesda was having the radio in Fallout 3. Now, I've seen many people hate on the radio being in Fallout, saying that it doesn't belong and shouldn't be in it simply because Fallout 1 and 2 didn't have them. However, I strongly disagree with this, and I love that you can listen to music while traveling the wasteland. Now, Fallout 76 honestly has the best music and radio station with Appalachia Radio. It has fantastic music, and the DJ is great. And even though she isn't Three Dog, and Three Dog would never be replaced, she's still very enjoyable to listen to. The thing is, you can really dislike Fallout 76 or hate it, but I believe you have to agree that this game has fantastic music, with my favorite personally being Bubbles in My Beer by Bob Wills, which is so good. Honestly, if there's one thing Fallout has done, is introduce me, make me love like older music from older time periods. Like, I think all Fallout music is like in the 50s or something like that. But man, like, Fallout has really the reason why I like older music more than modern music. I can go on about the music, but I will be repeating myself, so let's go ahead and move on to the next part. Now, if you were to ask me what is my least favorite Fallout game, it would obviously be Fallout 4. I honestly really dislike and hate Fallout 4, and Fallout 4 is the worst Fallout game in my opinion, and I've said this many times on like Let's Play videos I've done. However, there are things that were brought over from Fallout 4 that I believe Fallout 76 has actually improved on and did better in Fallout 4. The first thing I believe that Fallout 76 did a lot better was the building system that was introduced, because now one of my biggest issues with Fallout 4 was the building system, and it felt extremely forced. It really feels like most of the game is made around this system, and I don't think anything shows this better than the Minuteman quest line, or when you need to do it, need to build something in order to get to the Institute. That, like, it felt so forced to me, and it kept feeling like it was forced me. I really did not like that, because like, if I wanted to like build my own settlement, just let me choose and all that. However, I think Fallout 76 does this better, simply because it actually has a purpose. You have to make your own home or camp, and this works a lot better. Like, from the moment you leave Vault 76, you are thrown into a world where there is no one in it, and you have to build your own base the way you want it to be instead of moving into a house or room that wasn't owned by anyone before. And just being able to like create your own house the way you want it to be, I honestly really like. And something that goes along with this, I believe Fallout 76 also did better, was junk in this game. Now, junk is used not only to build your like home, but also to like improve your weapons and armor. I love how Fallout 76 handles junk in this game. Honestly, Fallout 76 was the first time I actually found myself just grabbing everything I could see because it was actually useful in this game. Fallout 3 New Vegas, there was so many things that I wouldn't grab because it was useless, they didn't have a purpose, and most of it just didn't give me any caps. However, Fallout 76 makes everything have a purpose because of junk, and yes, you do get less components in this game than Fallout 4, other than adhesive. I never really had an issue of I never had an issue running out of things other than adhesive. Now, the next one was my biggest issue with Fallout 4. However, when I first played Fallout 76, I actually found myself using them a lot more, and that is pipe weapons. Yes, Fallout 76 actually made me like pipe weapons. I believe it is because the fact that Fallout 4, pipe weapons were like everywhere. Every enemy basically had them. However, in Fallout 76, not every enemy has a pipe weapon, so you don't find them as often. And also the ammo is a little hard to come by, where with Fallout 4, basically every enemy had a pipe weapon, and .38 ammo like was on every enemy, so it was very easy to find. And I believe with how often I found them, that probably made me dislike them so much. And the fact that I find less pipe weapons in Fallout 76 is probably why I like them more. Also, something I really like is that with Fallout 76, it still has the core gameplay that Fallout 4 had, where you go out, get junk, come back, upgrade your gear, or build your house. However, it is a lot better than Fallout 76 because, again, it's not forced. I can do it when I want to do it. Also, Fallout 76 improves on the over-encumbered mechanic by having it to where you can continue moving at the same pace, but every time you move, you lose AP, you cannot sprint, and once you run out, you start walking like as if it was the older Fallout games. And you don't recover it until you stand still. Now, I know some might think this is a downside because then you just grab everything and no punishment, but I disagree because losing AP is not being able to run. That's punishment enough, especially when you're fighting some enemies. It can really be a challenge because you cannot get away in time because you're out of AP. This is honestly my favorite version of the over-encumbered system. Like, I really want the next Fallout game to have this system in because it works so much better than how Fallout 3 New Vegas and Fallout 4 did it. Now, honestly, Fallout 76 has my favorite way of choosing perks in the form of perk cards. I honestly think Fallout needs to keep this system. Something I love about this is the fact that you have to open the perk menu yourself rather than the game pausing like it does in Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Also, something I love is the fact that all your skill starts at level 1. However, instead of how it's done in previous game where you upgrade your special skill like at the very beginning, you upgrade it over time with the perk cards. Like every time you get perk cards, you get to choose what special skill you want to upgrade, and then you can choose a perk card in any of the special skills. Now, I love this because let's say you want to get picklock perk, but your perception isn't high enough. You need to upgrade that skill, but you have to wait to the next level to upgrade another skill that you might want. And I also really like this. Like, it kind of brings a challenge of, okay, what should I upgrade? However, I will agree that this is a little annoying sometimes, but I still really like this system of perk cards over Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and especially how Fallout 4 did it, which was just a giant screen of perks that just kind of in your face. I like that throughout Fallout 76 you get perk cards and they can really help you, like Junkrat, which allows the weight of junk to be lowered, or Concentrated Fire, which allows it to be easier to hit your target in V.A.T.S. So, which is so much better, and let's go ahead and talk about V.A.T.S. Now, Fallout 4 kind of made Fallout be more of a first-person shooter, and no problem with that, but this kind of made V.A.T.S. in Fallout 4 be useless. However, Fallout 76 honestly fixes this simply by having V.A.T.S. not freeze time, and instead the game keeps going when you activate V.A.T.S., And this is so much better now because Fallout 76 is a multiplayer game. It makes sense that the game cannot stop and freeze because it is online. However, this honestly makes V.A.T.S be so much better because you can quickly activate V.A.T.S, you can just keep shooting, and you don't have to stop time and all that. Like, you just keep going. Now, I wouldn't say this is my favorite version of V.A.T.S. My favorite would probably be how it was handled in Fallout 3. Like, Fallout 3 handled V.A.T.S really well, honestly. But this is definitely my second favorite version of V.A.T.S, and I love how it works extremely well with the improved gameplay. Now, the factions in Fallout 76 aren't the best, however, I still do really like them, with my favorite definitely being the Fire Breathers, who are part of the Responders. And we also have the Free States, the Enclave, the Raiders, and the Brotherhood still, which I honestly never had an issue that they were in this game because everyone says they are breaking the law of the game, but to me it kind of makes sense that there was a Brotherhood still in the East Coast, just they weren't as powerful as the West Coast, and they were destroyed, while the ones in the West Coast weren't and were able to last longer. And after they were killed, there was no Brotherhood in the East Coast until Elder Lyons' group went to DC from the West Coast. Now, I know there was a recent Brotherhood update where the Brotherhood is back, but even then, I feel like we could say that there were small groups of Brotherhood out east, but nowhere near as big as the West Coast. And even how big Elder Lyons' Brotherhood is. And now, I know many people say that, oh, you're just stretching, but I honestly really like the idea of the Brotherhood being in the East Coast. However, they weren't as powerful compared to Brotherhood in the West Coast. And it doesn't really break anything because the events of the original Fallout still happen, and the Brotherhood hasn't been to DC yet, so the events of Fallout 3 haven't happened yet. But anyway, to end this section off, I do like the factions with the Responders being old police and first responders, the Free States being people who disagreed with government and they live in their own Fallout shelters, the Enclave being the U.S. government, the Brotherhood being the U.S. Army, and the Raiders being people who learned the only way to survive, or the best way, is just taking things by force. I do really like the factions in this game, and the Fire Breathers are definitely my favorite. Now, it took this long, but let's finally start talking about the story of Fallout 76, which I believe is probably one of the best stories that Bethesda has made for a Fallout game, right next to Fallout 3's story. Now, this is just Bethesda games. I'm not counting New Vegas because Bethesda did not make that game. Yes, I do like Fallout 3's I do like Fallout 3's story really well, and I think it is the best story that they made, but Fallout 76 is really close. And I do like it that much. And one of the first things I love is that Fallout 76 has a different story. And they didn't do what Fallout 4 did, which was repeat the story of Fallout 3. Instead, they made a new story. So, we'll leave Fallout 76 first by being told we need to rebuild America. And we also need to go find our overseer. So we're going to follow the holotapes that she made to help us find her. And then the second half is about ending the Scorch Plague and learning how each group tried to fight against it. Now, even though I like this story, I do believe the way they told it was not that great. And I believe they should have just made Fallout 76 set place during the events of the Scorch Plague showing up and all the events that we read about. Now, Fallout 76 did get Wastelanders, which is a new story quest where you have to help either the settlers or the raiders find the treasure at Appalachia. This story is honestly really good as well. It's really good, however, I do prefer the original story of Fallout 76, and, the original story of Fallout 76, where, dealing with the Scorch Plague, I honestly think is one of Bethesda's best stories that they've ever made when it comes to Fallout. Now, I know just making this video will cause people to say, I'm not a real fan, or I'm a Fallout fanboy, or Bethesda fanboy. Honestly, I don't really care, because at least I'm having fun. The thing is, I got Fallout 76 a few months after it released. I heard a lot of bad things about it, and I even watched many videos talking about why Fallout 76 was terrible. but I got it anyway because I wanted to try it for myself. However, once I did actually get it and started playing it, I found out I was having a lot of fun. I was having a lot of fun with the game, and I was actually liking it. And then once Wastelanders came, I liked this game even more. Again, I really hate the business practices that Bethesda is doing with this game. However, unlike everyone else, I do not hate Bethesda, and I'm not going to go around and say that everything that they ever created was terrible, because unlike every other Fallout fan, I do love Fallout 3. I love Skyrim, I love Oblivion, and I even love Fallout 76. And it was simply because I went and played this game myself. You can go and say my opinion doesn't matter, or that I have bad taste in games, but hey, at least I go and actually try a game. I go and play it for myself, get my own opinion, instead of looking at reviews and looking at what other people are saying and being told whether or not I should or should not like a game. At least I'm going out and actually playing it. Like, you can like whatever you want, but when I like something, I at least go and play it and see what I think for myself.